versus ObscureLifeForm. This is an Ambrosia seed. I am Goron1988. This should be good. And I'm here with Jossie. Welcome, Jossie. How are you today?
Hey, I'm good. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. But yeah, I'm excited for this, especially after the race they had yesterday. I told Humbug no way was he rolling this seat after what he rolled yesterday, but I guess he suffered the consequences since, as you can see, Obscure is up 1-0.
Yeah. So, yeah, if Humbug wins this, we get a third game, and that will be in 3 hours' time. And of course, if Obscure wins it, Obscure will, advance to the top 8 and face, one of 2 opponents. We don't know which one yet, so we'll see on that one.
Yeah, actually, that will be decided. He'll face either Zero Rush or Chimo, and I believe they're playing in just a couple hours for their game 3.
So yeah, a lot on the line this Sunday.
Yeah, we by the end of the day, we will know our final 8 players.
So just going back into Ambrosia, what this is Uncle gives a boots hint, a shared sword. We'll see the boots hint now. And we now know they're in Dark World. They have to go through escape, and there is an item on each of the bosses. And that's going to make life a lot easier for our runners. 3 bombs in Link's house.
Yeah, I mean, now you know you can do backup escape.
Yeah, definitely no need to double dip that this time around. And as you can see, we can see both our runners. Yeah. I like seeing execution when runners have to do the same thing just for a little bit of time to see, basically how good their execution is and how close each one of them is to one another.
Hey, you were saying about bombs.
Yep, that's a lot of bombs. They won't even need to worry about Kakariko, tree pulling, defeating the rats, anything like that, as they're both entering into the castle. And yeah, the MSU is Mario Kart for this one. So, yeah. And we're just syncing up Humbug and Obscure. And it's good now.
Yeah, especially when they're doing the same stuff for the first 5 minutes, it helps when you can actually see who's ahead. Well, at least they won't have to go to Pod Basement for the flute this time.
Yep. That flute gives a ton of mobility. It will be really good. I wonder whether it will influence our runners' decisions upon whether to go to Kakariko or South Shore.
Yeah, certainly makes it more likely that they'll check hard-to-get-to Sphere 1 locations like Aegina's Cave and Ice Rod Cave.
So just a small key in the blue boomerang chest. I'm wondering where that blue boomerang is.
I know, it'll be the burning question even more than the boots, right?
Yes, definitely.
The thing about getting the boots in the Dark World hint is as soon as runners get Dark World access, they usually immediately go there and try to scour every overworld location they possibly can.
Would Pyramid Fairy be in Dark World, technically?
Yes, and so is Dark Death Mountain, so, you do need certain things to access some of the Dark World locations.
Yeah, so let's hope our runners don't think too much about that boots hint, and then the boots are in a terrible location. That would be awful for both of them. yeah, just both runners' executions seem really good, and they seem close to one another on time, so it's just nice to see as they're making their way to, well, the sewers and back of escape.
To answer chat, by the way, Mimic Cave would hint as Death Mountain, not Dark World. But meanwhile, while they're going through this long escape, we've got a prediction in chat. How many pendants do you think will be in the light world? Goron, you want to take a stab at that?
I think I've got to go for one, and I will put points on this prediction right now.
One's probably the most likely, I think. Now, we have not yet seen the map, is that right?
Yes, that's definitely right. We haven't seen the map from either of our runners yet.
So if it doesn't show up in the back three, then it's in Sank, and we get to play the game of which runners will remember that it's in Sank and skip the chest.
Okay, so... both of them getting that key off that rat, and we'll see what's in the back of escape. These 3 checks here. A refill, a map, and the hookshot.
Well, if it is on Dark Death Mountain, hookshot's one of the items that can help us get there.
Yep, no worries about Hookshot Cave. It's possible that the runners could have, in another seed, gotten the boots and wanted to hover across all of the Hookshot Cave locations. And 10 arrows in the sanctuary chest.
Which would be nice if we found the bow.
Well, we've got 2 opportunities for that, and it is 1 pendant in the light world.
Yep,
Yes,
regular crystals, Desert and Harrow, red pendant on Eastern.
Yep. So, well, congratulations to everybody who voted 1 in the predictions. Humbugh giving us a triple. It's just single rupees this time. And there's some divergence here. Humbugh is going to be checking the Lumberjack ledge, whilst Obscure is just going into Lost Woods. Is this an Aga seed? No, it isn't. Just
Not
a
unless
full heart
you...
container.
I was going to say, not unless you really need some more health.
Yeah, and that's Lamp on the Lost Woods drop-down.
Speaking of the potential for an Aga seed, that just made it slightly more likely that it's possibly an Aga seed for Dark World access.
Yep. And our tracker pointing out, and I have seen it. There's the blue boomerang. This is a great seed.
So hey, if they do have to climb Aga Tower, they can use the blue boomerang to fetch the key in that one room, right?
Yes, definitely. So Obscure is going to give us blind checks, 5 checks here. And there's the Cane of Samaria.
So this seed is just giving them everything that was a pain to find last time. Samaria was one of the big determiners in their first race because Ice Palace was a crystal. Humbugh goes in, gets 2 items on the left side, doesn't have Samaria, so he can't Icebreaker, and he's like, I'm just going to skip the right side. Of course, Samaria was on the right side.
Obscure going to be making it to Cack Well now. Mario does make a lot of things easier. There's a bottle which will make Sick Kid a lot easier. Just be able to route it in easily. Talking about one bottle, there's two bottles. Will we get a third and a fourth? There's three bottles! Oh, only three! 3 bottles in a book.
And we are $8 short of being able to pay off the bottle vendor. But fortunately, there was a good bee in one of the bottle, and he will give us the money to then pay him.
And here we see Obscure activating his flute.
See if Humbug... No, Humbug... Either Humbug wants his good bee for something, or he's forgotten that he can basically barter with the bottle vendor.
Yep. Although that means that both our runners are close by. That's Master Sword. This is Aga.
Potentially. I mean, we don't have any other Dark World access items so far. But with the flute and the hookshot, you're doing East Death Mountain before you make an Aga play. There's just too much stuff on East Death Mountain.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, with Master Sword and the lamp, that means both our runners can do Aga now. There are plenty of checks though with flute and hookshot.
It looks like Sick Kid today is doing his best Janis Joplin impression and saying, "Take another little piece of my heart."
I don't know if Sick Kid has any pieces of heart left to give.
If you add up all the seeds where he's given one.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's 5 rupees on library.
And Humbug now actually has bottle vendor money, so I guess he's going to save his good bee. Can be useful in Mini Moldworm Cave.
And talking about a refund where the bottle vendor put his money, that was actually on Race Game. There's 100 rupees there. And Humbug finds the Moon Pearl in Dam.
So that is Dark World access if you're willing to do Aga.
Yep. Still plenty of checks, though. We'll see if Humbug goes for this money. Most likely not, but...
Yeah, it's not like we're anywhere near Zora Cash.
Yep. And Obscure going to Mini Moldorm Cave. So both our runners doing similar routing this time. And we'll see when the divergence happens.
Master Sword certainly is nice for Mini Moldworm Cave, does the whole thing on sword beams.
Oh, yes. And just pieces of heart in Mini Moldorm Cave.
And the all-important red boomerang. So Obscure didn't grab the blue one?
It seems not.
And as we were saying with the early flute, it does make Ice Rod Cave easier. You just flute to 8, and you're halfway there.
Come on, Ice Rod and Ice Rod Cave. It'd be nice for something to be vanilla for once. So Ice Rod Cave just has 5 rupees. Well,
I mean,
it's blue.
Exactly what I was gonna say. Oh, and here's the mountain play, okay. Old man's in logic with the lamp.
Yeah, so with that hookshot, Obscure will be able to make his way towards East Death Mountain. That's Paradox Cave. That's Spiral Cave. We'll be able to check the Death Mountain Island. Won't be able to get into Hera without the hammer, though.
But there are 10 items up here total that we can actually get, plus 2 more that we can check.
And it seems like the old man actually found out what was on Ether Tablet and took the medallion for himself. That's Ether on Old Man.
Speaking of Ether Tablet, that's an interesting check if we turn up either the mirror or the hammer up here. Since we did get early Master Sword and early book.
Yes, it would be good to have the hammer or the mirror in this case. Those are gloves in Spec Rock Cave.
And all Saha had for us was a mushroom. Which Humbug is immediately going to turn in.
And chat is saying lift, and yes, today there is a lift in Spec Rock Cave. I don't know where it goes to. So, Obscure saving and quitting.
Yeah, easier to save and quit back to Old Man than to walk out of Spec Rock Cave.
Ah, yes.
Oh, he doesn't want to do right side yet. Interesting. I guess he's doing Saha's Hut first.
Yep. And Humbug is doing the Death Mountain checks, so we'll see whether we get Paradox Cave from Humbug first.
In the book, it might also be worth a flute to 6 because you can check both Desert Ledge and Aegina and then decide whether you want to go into Desert.
Yeah. Well, we'll see which one of these plays happens. Of course, with that mushroom and the flute, just checking the potion shop would be a good idea. Just for a one-off. So, as Humbug's about to get his glove, Obscure is about to make his way towards East Death Mountain. And still, there are plenty of options available to us, but nothing that gives us Dark World yet. We're waiting for Hammer or Mitts.
And the time difference between these runners is basically that Humbug bothered to pick up the Bloomerang and bothered to turn in the mushroom. But we are either Hammer or Mitts away from not having to do Aga.
That's tempered.
We also might be able to do Desert if it's not boots locked.
And that's Zora for Obscure.
Yeah, which is in logic with that glove. And Fish flopping around a little too much to set up that bomb jump. I do not know how you can line up that sprite.
Well, with amazing skill. I assume. So, Obscure going to be checking the Death Mountain Ledge, that's 20 rupees, and going down Spiral Cave.
And this is the last check we have up here, so I think you have to go to the desert area after this.
Yeah.
The early book just gives a really strong reason to not simply do Aga.
Yeah, yes, definitely. I mean, just thinking about it, there's still Eastern Palace, which is 2 because this is Ambrosia. We can't get the item off the boss, and Desert Palace, which is 2. The thing is that I'm just wondering when our runners will decide just to do Aga. just go, there aren't enough checks left.
So Desert Palace is 2, but there's also the Legend of Gina, so there's 4 for looting to the area.
Yes, definitely.
And that's where Humbugh's going. Ledge has Cane of Burna, which is kind of interesting. And Obscure decides to save Scum the Mushroom. He does have the Cane of Samaria, so he might be able to fake powder later.
Yes. So there is the possibility that Desert Palace is boots locked. We will see as soon as we see what's on the torch. And the top chest has a small key, so that's 2 chests on the right side. Hopefully one of these will be having the big key.
Right, because either the big key is on the right side or it's on the torch. Ooh, compass in the compass chest, imagine that.
Again, I just saw it, and the second item is the big key. That is good. The big key in its vanilla location means that Desert Palace is clearable.
And since this is Ambrosia, Landmo must have one of the 2 items.
Yes. You go.
Oh, I was just going to say, so that gives the runners incentive to full clear it.
Now, not all 2 items will be available, but we'll know what they are. Okay, so the second item is available. It is just the map on the torch. And this is a piece of art in the big chest.
Wait, I'm not seeing blue mail marked for Humbugh, though he's clearly blue. Presumably just one of the tracker app acting up again sort of things. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So Humbugh is picking up, well, the Cane of Burna, which is blue as well, so it all fits. And Obscure is right behind Humbugh, as Humbugh is going back to Desert Palace.
We're hammer away from having Spike Cave in Logic, so that's always something useful to think about with the Cane of Burna.
Yeah, Spike Cave. Yeah. If the runners get the hammer, then Spike Cave will be possible. Also, Hera will be possible, so it isn't that bad for our runners. I was just worrying for a second that it's possible that Spike Cave will be orphaned, but I don't think so, considering the logic behind it.
Now, when you've done the rest of the Light Mountain like that, you're pretty likely to combo Hera and Spike Cave when you go back up there. And Ether Tablet.
Yep. So Humbugh is facing off against Landmo, using Temper Swords. Getting a spin and a few slashes in. That's 1 Landmo down.
Yeah, 2 spins or 4 slashes per Landmo.
And that is Landmo down at 22 minutes, 28 seconds. That is Humbugh's first crystal. So just Eastern Palace left.
Are we really using Burna strats on Landmo?
Oh, Zora as well. To clarify, Zora as well. Oh gosh, it could be Zora. And Agina. Yeah, they need to do Agina now.
Though if you do Zora, you're probably gonna do some additional fake flipper checks.
Yeah, so at least it can all be comboed in. So it's not Agina. would it be Eastern Palace or Zora with Fate Flipper? I guess that's the question.
Though, if you do Zora and it's not on Zora, then you have to Houlihan to get pod money.
Yes, so that wouldn't be good. Chat is saying that it is a sketchy check on this cache. So that's the bug net on Lake Hylia Island.
Oh, well, clearly we can't beat Aga until we've done that.
Yeah, so Aga's not logical, because the bug net is on Lake Hylia Island. We now know the truth.
Have we checked our stun prizes, by the way? Does Humbug, like, have an easy way to raise the extra 46 rupees if he can't get them?
I haven't seen either of them checking stun prizes. So that was nothing under the bridge. And Humbug is gonna go for Waterfall Fairy and eventually Zora. With Obscure, well, slightly behind on this. Hera needs a hammer or a mirror. And, well, we don't need to worry about Palace of Darkness anymore. Those Fate Flipper checks from Humbug coming really in handy, giving enough money for probably the rest of the seed, really.
Yeah, certainly that'll be enough for the Village of Outcasts checks, and with the hook shot and the glove, if we do Aga, we'll have the right items to get over to the Village of Outcasts.
So Humbug is, well, walking on water. I know if he gets hit, then that might be a soft block, so that is good that he wasn't hit. Zora not giving anything, so it has to be Eastern Palace.
Or an Aga seed. And that's the question, because a lot of runners, Humbug's just gonna go for Aga, doesn't wanna dip Eastern for 2 items. Remember, Armos Knights has to have 1, so we're only getting 2 items out of Eastern if we go in there.
Yeah. The good part of this is that if, let's say, Humbug does Aga, goes to pod, gets the mirror, Humbug can be able to mirror to Eastern Palace and get whatever's in Eastern Palace if this isn't an Aga seed. So the play definitely makes sense, and both our runners are doing it. Humbug making masterful work of those guards. And yes, as it's said in predicting with channel points right now, you can say how many blue balls you think Aghanim is going to produce this seed. As both our runners are making the climb.
Just to address something in chat, fake powder would require either the hammer or the mirror, but if you don't have the hammer and use the mirror, then you would be sacrificing your mirror portal.
So yeah, since both our runners are doing the climb, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, please give both our runners a follow. They're both very good runners, and they're both very nice people, so yeah.
See, there's the blue boomerang coming into use exactly where I said it would.
The blue boomerang is good, definitely. And my prediction, although not with channel points, will be 2.
2 is what you like to see. It avoids the second lightning attack.
And Obscure using the hook shot to get that key.
There's one.
That's 2.
So you're already tight. You need to hope for energy balls all the way through. But no.
No, not my day.
The 15 dream is alive for those sickos among you who want 15.
So, is it 15? Is it 15? No! I mean, yes, it's great. It's not 15.
That's 4 already. And the answer will have been an Eastern Palace all along, so the runners are just torturing themselves. But hey, at least neither's gaining or losing anything against the other.
Yeah, that is one good thing about it. So that was 4, I believe.
Yep.
And if you guessed 4, well, congratulations on your channel point reward. Green pendant, Palace of Darkness, and a pendant Thieves Town.
Did we see what the 5, 6 were?
I did not see that, sadly. Although, thanks to our tracker, iCare, we know that one of the 5, 6s are Skullwood.
And ice is the other.
So, Humbugh is just going to be going straight to Catfish before doing Pod. Actually, with that hook shot, that does mean that there are a ton of checks possible to both our runners, because that's access to Village of Outcasts and Thieves Town.
To answer chat, this MSU that Humbugh is using is Mario Kart. Mario Kart Wii, I believe. I love how they're both doing Catfish as their first play, having entered the Dark World. I mean, I guess he's totally orphaned otherwise.
That is true. I'm thinking maybe one too many memories of something being on Catfish, maybe, for both our runners. And to answer chat, Ambrosia means that Uncle says where the boots are. Our runners start with a sword, and there is a guaranteed item, not a key, map, or compass, on our bosses. So, on our bosses could be rupees, could be heart pieces, or could be progression, but won't be anything that couldn't be progression, basically.
Which is also one of the reasons why the runners went to do Aga without checking Eastern, because they know they can only get 2 items out of Eastern because they can't get to Armos without the bow.
Yes, so we're going to be looking at Bumper Ledge right now on Humbugh's side.
Oh,
that's the boots!
Well, Uncle didn't hint where the cape is.
Yeah, we know that the cape can't be in Kingstown, though, because that would be a paradox. So we'll see where it is as Humbugh is entering into Skullwoods.
So, non-vanilla cape confirmed.
So there'll be only one item in the front of Skullwoods.
And we just found it. It was the hammer, but Humbug is continuing to go. I don't know if he's forgotten this fact about ambrosia.
And Obscure is in Village of Outcasts. The hammer being there in Skullwood and not in Eastern Palace means that we've gotten rid of one of our possibilities for Dark World access without Aga. So Aga does seem as though it was the play.
And Thieves being a pendant, I wonder if Obscure is just going to do the front four. And so it doesn't matter whether he has the hammer when he goes in.
Yeah. With regards to items, this would mean if you were avoiding blind, if you find 3 items, then you know that you're basically done with Thieves Town. Obscure seems to be going for the Dig Gain, Stumpy, and then possibly Hype Cave.
Which is unfortunate because it's a long walk to get back around here, and depending where the mitts are, he may need to do that long walk again to get that hammer. This is kind of upbeat music for the Dark World.
It's more like the upbeat world today.
So all Obscure can do over here is Stumpy and Hype Cave. And then he'll have to figure out something else, which could be Pendant Pod.
There's the small key. Thieves Town is full clearable. It is a pendant. And Ped has not been checked yet, even though both our runners have the book. So we'll just have to see whether Humbug decides to full clear this, as Obscure is going for Hype Cave.
There's one item and it's junk.
That's the mitts.
Ooh, so Obscure has to go back to the village area. He is not going to get very far until he goes into Skullwoods and Thieves.
That is necessary for Misery Mire, and, well, that's big. Humbug does not only just have the hammer, Humbug has the mitts as well, from both dungeon dips. That's huge.
Yeah, so if Obscure goes into Pendant Pod, this is just going to put him behind. I mean, the only bailout is if it has the cape, really. I suppose the mirror could be helpful.
Also, because mitts were in Thieves Town, this was an Agaseed.
That is also true.
So Obscure is going to be going into Pod. Because Obscure does not have the bow, he will probably be doing a, the off-screen glitch, the bottle glitch, for the Mimic Room. And also Obscure won't be able to effectively take the shortcut using the, on the east side. And won't be able to clear the dungeon for one of the 5 items here. And yes, chat's saying that anything could be in pod. So, supposedly chat thinks something's here. So Humbug with those mitts can do Smith Chain, albeit quite a lot less easily, due to the fact that he doesn't have the mirror. The question is, will he?
And meanwhile, Pod is not immediately bow-locked, so that gives Obscure plenty of things to do here. He also has a potion, so he can easily potion glitch the bow-locked side. Okay, 2 small keys means you go to the vanilla big key chest next.
Yep, and it seems as though Humbugh is doing the Smith chain now.
Or taking the Smith on the world tour to Stumpy and Hype Cave.
I still want the Smith World Tour t-shirts. I really do. With all the locations. Like, for instance, Stumpy right now and Hype Cave soon. As Obscure is doing the east side of Pod.
Yeah, if there's only one small key here, then the entire back is in logic.
So Obscure now doing the potion glitch, and gets it off quite easily to go to the two chests in the right side of Pod.
The potion glitch is a literal example of out of sight, out of mind. If the game can't see the mimics, they must not exist.
You could say that the the mimics are playing hide and seek with the player. So Obscure just trying to walk back to the front of Pod.
Problem with not having the hammer.
Yeah, exactly. And we will soon see if the first part of Smith Chain has anything. As Humbugh is about to, well, is about to turn the Smith in.
Now here he could have fake powdered if he hadn't turned in the mushroom. Ooh, getting our first look at mire area.
Yep. Just 2 items here, but they're easy to find, so let's see what's here. And still seems like there's nothing in Pod.
And we're not getting into mire because it requires Quake.
Well, Marshed having a medallion, just not the right medallion. It has Bombos, not Quake, sadly.
There's our big key in Harmless Hellway, so, I'm trying to think. I think we've seen 2 dungeon items, 2 items, so there'll be 2 more over here.
And one of them's the fire rod.
I guess we've seen
necessary.
I guess we've seen 3 dungeon items. Well, this should get Obscure over to Skull Woods, and he'll get his hammer. It'll also give Obscure an easier time in Ice Palace than Humbugh's having, because Fire Rod's much quicker than Bombos for doing ice. And I guess that must have been our 4th item, and we hadn't seen either dungeon item in Pod, and Obscure's counting. Because otherwise you wouldn't, like, ditch the rest of Dark Maze like that.
Definitely, so... yeah, must have had the 4 items in Pod then. So now each... You go.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Obscure has gotten majorly bailed with that Fire Rod.
Yeah, Fire Rod in Pod Mitts in Thieves Town, both of which are required, so our runners have one item that the other doesn't at the moment. It's just when will each of our runners check the respective locations of the other? As Humbug gets Icebreaker, Icebreaker's across.
Yeah. But Humbug does have everything he needs to beat Ice Palace here.
And it is a crystal.
Ooh.
That is Mirror. That's going to make a Pod EP combo quite easy to do if Humbug chooses to do it.
Yes, combo 2 Pendant Dungeons. Probably. So the Mitts might actually hurt him here because comboing 2 Pendant Dungeons is not necessarily top of your mind once you have like the hammer and the Mitts and can get all over the world.
Yes, and if Humbug was checking like we have, he would know that there's nothing granting Dark World access in Eastern Palace. Obscure about to make his way to the back of Skull Woods, whilst Humbug is making his way to Ice Tea Room, and will eventually complete Ice Palace. So we'll see if we get an in-sync boss fight between the two of them. Albeit different bosses, but should be fun.
Early Tempered Sword will certainly come in nice and handy for both of them.
And that's our first shield in Ice Tea Room.
Ooh, yay. Lovingly made for you by Fisher-Price.
Definitely. So, Humbug making his way to the bottom. I'm really hoping this is in sync. I really am. So Obscure's in the drop down. No, it's not in sync, but Humbug is just a few seconds behind, effectively. Well, I say behind. I don't mean in the race. I just mean in the sync, okay?
Moth really not cooperating in terms of staying off the spikes.
Yeah. A lot of the times, with regards to Moth, it's not Moth that's the hardest boss here, as Obscure defeats Moth, getting his second crystal, and the bow!
Wow. Okay, so bow locked behind back of pod, but as we said, given the key layout, that's perfectly logical.
And they're roughly at the same time. That's Humbug's second crystal, being Ice Palace. 46-40 roughly between both of them. Obscure got 2 items, so yeah. Oh wait.
What? No, he hasn't gotten the hammer. He did the middle and now he's doing the back. He'll do the front on the way out and might feel a little silly that he didn't get his hammer, but
I was just thinking, I was like, surely they both got both items, and then I was like, oh wait, no. So my apologies.
Comment in chat, they don't necessarily need bow. That's true, they could mimic clip their way up Ganon's tower, but bow does make life a bit easier.
Yeah.
If you can, I mean, even if you don't get silvers, bow makes Vitreous a whole lot easier. If you do get silvers, even more so.
Just thinking about these items in pod, though. I mean, this is... Sorry, in Skull Woods. This isn't Skull Woods. This is pod access woods, effectively.
Also, to note, there is no way Humbug doesn't get the bow because Mothula has a crystal.
Oh,
And
there's another bow on...
there is no way Humbug doesn't get silvers because Mothula has a crystal.
Nice rework of that. Can we cut the first one out? So yes, that's silvers on Ether Tablet, although I mean both routes are logical, so basically, yeah.
Obscure now has the hammer, and now let's see if he actually goes into Pendant Thieves.
So, yep. Whilst Humbug is doing Hera, which is a crystal, does have 2 items, one of which being that heart piece, which is good news because the second item will be on Moldon.
So what do we still need? We need Quake, we need the Ice Rod, we need Flippers.
And 1 out of 22, we need those boots.
And, of course, each of the runners has something the other runner needs as well.
So, yeah, nothing in Hera, but that is Humbug's third crystal at 49 minutes and 30 seconds. And here Obscure gets the miss, so Obscure only needs to go into Ice Palace for that mirror, and then we'll have the same items that Humbug has, roughly. With regards to that, Obscure is most likely to get that.
And Obscure likewise checking the mire area, going to find out he can't get in.
So, Humbug finding nothing in Spike Cave. Yeah, my area is Quake. Neither of our runners have it yet. Humbug making his way back up the mountain. There are 6 items, 2 from Super Bunny Cave and 4 from Hookshot Cave. So, yeah, we'll see if any of these are required. Also, might be able to see what Turtle Rock is, whether that's Quake locked as well. Well, without that Fire Rod, and without without the Fire Rod, Humbug can't make it that far in TR anyways, even if the medallion was the right one. Obscure making his way up the mountain as well.
Notably without the mirror. Right, now, Obscure having the Fire Rod does raise the interesting question, if he can get into TR, does he dip it? Normally you wouldn't, but you're already up here.
I'm about 30-70 on it. I don't think Obscure is likely to do so, but it's not... It's a possible check.
But, no, it's Quake.
So, Quake is, well, super required for this seed.
Yeah, and Bombos and Ether were both red herrings.
And that's Obscure's Silver Arrows, so that's going to make a few boss fights really easy for Obscure. And there's the 4th bottle in Hookshot Cave.
So Humbug wins our bottle percent race of the evening. Get your GGs in for Humbug.
So there's 1 bow in Skullwoods and 1 bow on Ether Tablet.
And 3 bottles in Kakariko Well for those of you who tuned in late.
Yeah, was really hoping for 4 there, and Obscure is Hera parting.
Oh, and here's... Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah, here's the pod EP play from Humbug, basically.
And so now I guess the next big question for plays is when Obscure goes to Ice Palace to get his mirror. Probably not too long because it'll be his only completable crystal.
It is also a red crystal, which means that Obscure will be able to get Pyramid Fairy after this.
I can guarantee you flippers are not in Pyramid Fairy.
Yes, well, that is one thing, true. Although Cape on Pyramid Fairy would be a bit... So Humbugh has the hammer, has the bow. That does mean that he will be able to complete this dungeon if he so chooses. There is a reward for completing this dungeon. That is the green pendant, although it's a little bit out of the way.
And Helma has an item, so at least it's 2 items for your trouble.
Yeah.
What would be funny is if Sahasrara has the cape, because, hey, then... You know, it's sort of vanilla boots.
It's more vanilla trade quest boots. So Obscure finding out that it is Quake for Turtle Rock. And he's gonna be doing Super Bunny Cave and then Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, I just realized that there is a distinct risk to Obscure if he does go in... No, right. No, we already agreed Obscure is not going into TR because he doesn't have Quake, which is just as well because he also doesn't have Mirror, and Orphaning Mimic Cave wouldn't be good.
Yeah. So, just trying to think about things. Flippers are technically required, although our runners can just easily skip that.
I mean, Swamp is a crystal, so flippers are hard required.
Oh. I don't know why I didn't notice that for a second. My apologies. So, well, flippers can't be in a mirror-locked location because, you know, the mirror is locked by the flippers. So I'm assuming there might not be that many checks of Graveyard Ledge in Cave 45. Or possibly even Mimic Cave for that matter.
I mean, you're still looking for Quake in the Ice Rod, which can be pretty much anywhere outside of TR and Mire.
So Obscure is going to be doing Spike Cave, and then he will probably save and quit. We'll see where he goes from here. So while we know that Obscure will be getting that mirror sometime during his run, the question is how many checks will Obscure be doing before that mirror, and will those checks hold the Ice Rod or the Flippers? Or Quake.
And now Humbugh's counting items because he... Or did he hammer yump, actually?
I didn't see that, so I can't verify that. Could chat verify?
Chat verified that he did not hammer yump and he is now counting items.
Okay.
So it's always nice when runners suddenly remember that in the middle of the seed, because he clearly hadn't remembered it in, whatchamacallit, in, why am I blanking?
Skullwoods.
Skullwoods, thank you!
It took me a while as well, so don't worry. So we're seeing an Eastern play from Obscure here. Obscure can get all 3 items. It is a pendant, though.
I'm just surprised Obscure wants to do completable pendant dungeons rather than fake flipper to ice.
I mean, the flippers do... Well, yeah. It might be Obscure just trying to make sure that everything's in logic. We'll just have to see. Humbug is doing pod, which will grant us our 2 items, so we'll see what those are very soon.
Chat remarking that flippers lock swamp. Well, flippers doubly lock swamp since they also logically lock the mirror.
And here we see Humbug facing off against Helmasaur.
And again, counting items, we can safely skip the Eastern Big Key chest.
And that is helmet down for Humbug. Getting that green pendant and 20 rupees, so... Is it Sahasrara?
I wonder if the runners are just convinced this is going to be a ped seed after yesterday.
I mean, I wouldn't blame them. Are we sure the goal of this game isn't just to complete ped?
Well, there's a mode we could have as a weekend league, and oh my, green pendant was required.
Oh, green pendant was doubly required for Misery Mire and Turtle Rock. That is big because we don't know when Obscure is going to be going back into pod.
Probably now if he just went to the trouble of Eastern. Or not. Now he's going to do Back of Thieves. Which could still be something. Obscure, you don't have to take the long way around, you have myths. Or is he going to read ped? He's going to read ped.
Yeah, so Obscure is making his way through the Lost Woods, evading those thieves, making his way into the Sacred Forest Meadow, going past all the animals, and is reading ped. It is just 3 bombs. Ped is not required today.
So, that at least... Where's he gonna go then? Back of Thieves Town anyway?
Yeah.
A very long smith chain since he doesn't have mirror?
So Humbug is just going to be completing out Skull Woods right now.
And this will give Humbug the crystal count lead.
So we're waiting on the flippers and the ice rods. Humbug has a crystal lead and a material lead. So we'll just see. It's still possible for either of our runners to win this at this stage, but it's looking in Humbug's favor, really.
I mean, Obscure's big out at this point would be finding the flippers or the ice rod. His second out would potentially be finding the cape.
And that's Humbug's 4th crystal at 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 30 seconds. And yes, a really clean moth, as chat says. And Humbug is checking ped. I mean, the only crystal that's possible is the Ice Palace crystal. Humbug will be going into Misery Mire with that quake, so Misery Mire completely clearable, and Obscure is still checking items in Thieves Town. The bomb chest was just the compass, so we haven't seen the third item yet. It will either be a Maiden's Chest or the Thieves Town Big Chest. Humbugh defeating the first enemies in Misery Mire, whilst Obscure is making his way to Maiden's Chest. So, the third item, which is the Thieves Town Big Chest, it should be an item now, and yeah, I'm definitely liking the music as well. That is a God Mire on Humbugh's side.
Because it's only ever a God Mire when you're not in go mode.
Yes. Definitely. The third item in Thieves Town is 50 rupees, so we'll see if something's on blind. We know that this isn't a pet seed.
Sorry, I'm laughing because someone in chat remarked, looks like the maiden is chasing a fish, and it kinda does.
That is a very astute observation. Whilst the fish is definitely defeating Blind, who has been hungry today, the fish wins. And the fish is granted with the powder. This will be an interesting check.
Good safety, if nothing else. Though we certainly have plenty of bottles.
Yes, Humbugh having 4 and Obscure having 3. It seems like. I thought Obscure checked Hookshot Cave though, so I'm a bit confused.
Yeah, it might be mismarked on the tracker.
So, Obscure now going to be doing Smith Chain.
Yeah, without the mirror, gotta grab the Smith there, and then you do... Then you turn in the Smith and do Magic Bat.
Yep.
And Magic Bat will tell us whether Thieves Town was just a big waste of time, or whether it had something.
Yeah, I mean, Thieves Town did have a lot. Having our mitts was good in Thieves Town in the front. We'll just be seeing if the back is a waste of time.
Right.
Yeah, chat pointing out that there was effectively nothing in Mire for the first item, so we'll see if the second item on Vitreous will be good. And that doesn't look as though there's anything on the Smith. Well, we already knew that. Here's the Magic Bat check. And Humbugh defeats Vitreous easily, that being his 5th crystal. On Magic Bat is the Ice Rod.
Of course it's the Ice Rod, so...
Game on.
Yeah, 2 out of 3 pendant bosses hard required in this seed.
That's huge. And to clarify, you know, if Obscure wants to complete this seed, he will have defeated all 3 pendant dungeons.
Okay, chat pointing out, Obscure could have just fake powdered the Magic Bat and skipped Thieves Town, but Humbugh turned in his mushroom, so he will have to do blind.
That was a big decision on Humbugh's part that, well, Humbugh may come later to regret, sadly. So Humbugh is going to be checking Bombo's tablet now, whilst Obscure is doing, well, hammer pegs, which I believe has been done before.
Yeah, but I don't think Humbugh did Purple Chest.
Ah, yes, this is a big bomb play from Humbug. So the only thing that we're missing here is actually the flippers, which we know cannot be behind Mire.
Right, so that actually is good because if Obscure winds up getting Quake and doing Turtle Rock, we know he's not missing anything in Mimic Cave.
And yeah, chat pointing out boots. So there is still that 1 in 22 chance.
So where to, Obscure?
Nothing in purple chest. And Pyramid Fairy has nothing. It seems like Obscure is going for Ice Palace now.
So after, like, being very careful to keep things in logic, he doesn't want to do Helma King and get his,
His weight.
Yeah. Ooh boy, here's Humbug going into TR.
Which may still have the... I mean, just trying to think about this. TR may still have the flippers. Yes.
It may, but if it does, that's just going to take him farther away from Ice Rod.
Yeah, that is true.
Because then he clears Swamp looking for Ice Rod.
And we all know there's left side Swamp. And just for chat, Ice Rod is, well, magic that.
And Humbug turned in his mushroom, so he will need to get the powder off of Blind.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think logically between both these runners because one of chat says has to be TR, but I don't know the specific context. Where is left for the flippers? I mean, TR is a possibility.
I mean, I guess you could get the mitts in TR and then, not the mitts, sorry. The tape in TR and then flippers are behind the boots.
That is possible. So Obscure getting that mirror.
Because we can rule out all the mirror locations as we've discussed.
Yeah. All I can think of is Turtle Rock at this stage. Neither of our runners have done Bombo Tablet though, have they?
But that's mirror locked.
Oh yes, that is mirror locked.
But I think Obscure, knowing that flippers can't be mirror locked, does have a decent chance of going to pod next.
I mean, yeah. Chat saying the possibility of it being Trinex. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, the flippers could be behind Trinex, in which Humbug would need the Ice Rod, and Obscure would need, well, would need Quake from pod.
Of course, again, this is going to cost Humbug time because he doesn't know that the Ice Rod isn't mirror locked. So expect a full Mimic Cave check and everything.
Yes.
As the enemies bounce him around on the platforms.
I just noticed, maybe I didn't see it, but I didn't see Humbug doing the right side of Turtle Rock.
He did, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to have a small key to get through that door.
Ah. Yeah, I must have gotten my orders mixed up or something. My apologies. So Obscure about to get his, well, 4th crystal, whilst Humbug is keeping on throughout Turtle Rock. I think that, I think that Laser Bridge will probably be big, considering the amount of items that are left.
Okay. So, since Obscure knows that flippers aren't behind mirror, is there anything he has besides helmicking?
I really don't think so. I mean, there is Pyramid Fairy that Obscure's got right now, but that's just a small check.
Well, and that's also behind flippers.
Yeah, true.
So, in terms of where he can go to chase flippers, I think he has to do helmicking.
So Obscure is fluting away.
And sure enough, there's the flute to 5.
Yes, so... Whatever the case may be with this Turtle Rock, even if Turtle Rock is flippers, Humbug will need to get out of here and go towards Thieves Town. Now, I'm just trying to think, is there anything that Humbug hasn't done? I think both our runners have pretty much done all the checks that they can do with the items that they've got. I think Humbug has to go to Thieves Town after this.
Yeah, so if you're rooting for Humbug, you almost want the flippers to be on or behind Trinex, so that it's more likely that they'll go to Thieves Town. Because otherwise he's full clearing Swamp. If flippers are on or behind Trinex, then he can go mode Swamp.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. So Obscure's cleared out most of Pod by now, so this will be quite quick. This is effectively a go mode Pod. Of course, the difference between Obscure and Humbug at the moment is that Misery Mire, so Humbug is up 1 crystal. Although Obscure is, well, about to get all the items that he needs, barring the flippers, so... I'd say Humbug has a slight lead, that's my personal opinion. I mean, what do you think of it, Jurassic?
I mean, it's hard for me to see Obscure not catching up just because of that Ice Rod.
Yeah.
Because Obscure's going to be in go mode as soon as he... Well, not go mode, but he's going to be flippers from go mode as soon as he turns in the green pendant, at which point he knows he can ignore all mirror checks.
Yeah.
And so having those fewer checks will give him an opportunity to catch up, because he'll go to Mire, he can ignore Checkerboard Cave. The one item in Mire was pretty quick, so it's not, even if it's not quite a God Mire, he's not going to be in there very long.
Humbug is checking Laser Bridge. There is nothing on Laser Bridge. The flippers are somewhere else.
So I think either flippers or shovel or cape leading to flippers have to be on Trinex.
Yeah, this is a Trinex seed, it seems like.
Oh yeah, and Chad also saying if Humbug goes to Eastern now, he hasn't touched Eastern. Yeah, flute to 5, so he's going to be giving a lot of time back to Obscure right here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd like a flippered Trinex. just swimming in Hyrule Lake. There you go.
So you don't want it to be a shovel or a cape to fetch quest.
Could you imagine an invisible Trinex? That would be the toughest fight ever. I possibly shouldn't be giving anybody any ideas for the next April Fool's randomizer, should I? So, Obscure is about to get his Quake, and does so. So, Obscure now has Misery Mire and Turtle Rock as possibilities.
It's going to be a while before we see Trinex, so nice long prediction in chat. Do you think it will be the flippers themselves, or the shovel, or the cape?
I'm gonna vote for the flippers.
Oh, yes, and thank you to chat for the reminder. Do give these runners a follow. Whether they play a Game 3 or not, they are both fantastic runners. Obscure made it to the semifinals, fourth place in last year's tournament. Humbugh just off of being runner-up in the latest ladder tournament. The, what did they call it? It was something open?
I can't say, sadly. Does anybody in chat know what that
Open
was?
Plus, thank you.
Thank you, chat. So Obscure gonna find out that it's a Gobmire, but Obscure is still looking for those flippers. As Humbugh is making his way throughout Eastern Palace. This does mean that both our runners will be completing all 3 pendant dungeons.
I mean, Eastern did have the butter sword, right? That's about the only useful thing we got out of there.
And Humbugh not picking up that crystal, which is understandable because both our runners know that Head is dead.
So I think Humbugh pretty much has to do Thieves now, yes?
I think so.
And
There's
Obscure's one item, so he will go straight to Vitreous now, which will tie up the crystal count.
Yeah. So
But then he can go straight to the mountain for TR, while Humbugh's going to have to clear out the back of Thieves. So it's not going to be a huge lead, but it will give Obscure a few minutes.
So the things Obscure has to do is to finish Misery Mire, which will take 1 or 2 minutes or 3. Humbugh needs to complete Thieves Town and then go through TR, but it's effectively a go mode TR, whilst Obscure will be checking every chest apart from Mimic Cave in Turtle Rock. Now, Turtle Rock isn't the best dungeon to go mode, so I'm not sure.
And let's see how those predictions are coming along. People leaning a bit towards flippers, a bit against Cape. They're just cruel. They don't want the runners to be getting boots this seed.
That is a good way of thinking about it, I guess.
I see Obscure's teammate Nobly leading the charge for flippers on Trinex.
Actually, does Obscure need flippers? He's a fish! I don't get it anymore!
So there's crystal number 5 for Obscure, tying up the crystal count. That will send him up the mountain. As you've said, he will not be able to go mode TR, though he will be able to skip Mimic Cave. Humbugh will just be able to rush TR once he gets that Ice Rod.
Yes, Obscure fluting away. This is the few minutes difference between the mountain climb, but we'll see if Humbugh gets it back in Turtle Rock. It looks like this race is going to be close, no matter who's in the lead. It has to be on Trinex, like we discussed, so yeah. It may all come down to that GT routing. And, well, Swamp Palace as well. How they route that.
For the moment, let's get a bit of Obscure's audio on. As Humbug just gets that money out of Thieves Big. I know, such a change in music to go from that peppy Mario Kart music to the vanilla music.
Yes, definitely. So, I am going to be counting the times here. And we'll see when Obscure goes into Turtle Rock compared to Humbug, and when Obscure goes out of Turtle Rock compared to Humbug. So, Humbug now facing off against Blind. Humbug will need to do Magic Bat, which will give a little bit more time in Obscure's favor. Obscure going into Turtle Rock at 1:24.22.
And because we know progression is on Trinex, Obscure will literally be full clearing the dungeon looking for that progression.
Yes, definitely. So, Humbug getting that pendant. I think that was to quickly go out of Thieves Town this time. And is going straight to Magic Back, whilst Obscure is checking the east side of Turtle Rock.
Humbug's gonna be ditching that purple chest in a hurry.
Yes. And also wondering, yeah, should I have worried about Mushroom earlier on? That's not going to feel too good for Humbug, sadly. Although Obscure Obscure saved the Mushroom, but effectively did the exact same thing as Humbug, so... Yeah, and that's Humbug's Ice Rod, which means that...
Yeah, chat pointing out, purple chest isn't mirror locked, so there's no reason for Humbug to not turn it in. It could have flippers.
I believe, yes, logically that's true. I thought we checked purple chest, though, and it was nothing but...
It is nothing, but Humbug doesn't know that.
Yeah. And now Humbug's going to be making the climb.
Yeah, so now the question is, how much time can Humbug make up as Obscure continues to full clear the dungeon?
I mean, Obscure is nearly doing lava chests, so...
Right, but he will full clear Laser Bridge. That takes like a minute or so.
Yeah. I'm tempted to say now, just looking at it, that Obscure will be... My guess is about 30 seconds ahead after all this.
Obscure also has to circle around to... circle around to the big chest.
Yeah. So, that's Humbug in at 1:27.20. That's about 3 minutes. That's 2 minutes 58 there. So, there is a bit of time, but Humbug can go mode this.
So, actually, this will be an interesting thing, like, what? Oh, Obscure is checking Mimic Cave, hoping for the cape.
Oh.
That's risky. I mean, I know we all like to have the boots, but this late?
It's a 1 in 22 chance. And nothing's in Mimic Cave.
Yeah, that was just a good 20 seconds or so eaten up.
Yeah, this means that they... In my estimation, they could be neck and neck right now. I mean, Humbug's already making the time up. Yeah, Humbug's possibly even ahead now.
Yeah,
And
they're in the same room. And Obscure's still opening chests.
We said that at the same time as they were in the same room.
Yeah. Well, enjoy your sync. Humbug fans, you can thank Obscure for opening Mimic Cave.
Definitely. So Humbug has taken the lead. Wow, that just shows. I will be timing the end of the Trinex fight as well, but you know, there were 3 minutes in there, and Humbug just go-moding Turtle Rock just sweeps past Obscure right there and then. So Humbug is soon to be facing off against Trinex. Don't worry about GT yet, because we've still got Swamp Palace. For those of you who like to get your guesses in, we've still got a bit to go. And now we're back to Humbug's music. Facing off against Trinex. Is it the cape? Is it flippers? Those are the questions. As Humbug defeats the first phase of Trinex. Humbug is on 2 hearts. Possibly has potions, but should be able to make short work of this Trinex. And Obscure making his way towards Trinex. What does Trinex have? Is it shovel? Is it cape? Or is it flippers? It is flippers. Humbug is in go mode. And that is, well, about 130.25, but waiting till the crystal lifts off for the defeat of Trinex. That's 130.35 as Obscure is facing off against this second phase of Trinex.
And congratulations to Gamma Chew for outbidding nobly. And we should have known, because Gamma bid on flippers, that it had to be flippers, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, Humbug making his way to Swamp Palace. Obscure, what is the time? 1:31:08. So there's 33 seconds between these runners.
Which can very easily be decided by GT Basement. Or execution.
Yes, though, definitely.
Both of these runners have really good execution.
So, there is still a chance that I say go mode. There is still the chance that the GT Big Key is on Torch, and we need those boots. If so, the cape could be in GT. Well, it could be either in GT or Swamp Palace, as we can see right now, so... But yeah, there's no reason for these runners to think that they aren't in go mode right about now, so any skips are completely understandable on this one.
Of course, it'll be interesting if there's a small key on the torch, because that will tell us that the game's expecting us to get boots.
Oh, interesting. And we see Humbug skipping chest. Obscure probably going to do the same thing.
I don't know. He really wanted the cape out of Mimic Cave.
Yeah, let's see if Obscure does the same thing. Oh, he's passing a chest! But after all that time in Mimic Cave, Obscure...
What was funny was, like, earlier this round, the runners had basically go mode swamp, but they didn't have silvers. P-Train skipped the flooded chests, one of which had silvers. And it takes like 3 seconds to open the flooded chests.
So Humbug going to make his way to back. Going to be doing water walking. We'll see if Humbug does these 2 chests. No.
Though it's an interesting question whether boots would save you enough time. I guess running up the mountain is still a big deal. but it does take a bit to go through Bumper Cave.
I mean, also just thinking about this, the main difference between these two runners now is that Mimic Cave check. That's the main difference.
I mean, Humbug also checked Mimic Cave, so the question is, like... Oh, Shovel!
Ooh, Shovel. Shovel to Cape to Boots to GT Big Key on
I don't
George.
think you can risk Dig Spot.
I don't think you can, but... This is an outside chance for Obscure. It is actually an outside check for Obscure. Although that does put a few more seconds on Obscure's timer, so we'll see if it's worth it. And that is Humbug's 7th crystal. Make your guesses in chat, 1 to 22, where you think the GT Big Key will be. Where do you think it will be, Jossie?
I mean, I'm gonna go with 14 today. Just because I think Humbug's gonna take a conservative routing. That was actually what allowed him to beat Relkin in the Open Plus Invitational. So he's definitely going to do Compass Room before he goes to the back, so 14 will be my favorite chest, the first chest in Rando Room.
Yeah. I'm gonna guess 7. And that's Obscure's 7th crystal, so... You know, Obscure is slightly behind Humbug, and Humbug gets dead rocked.
Yeah, that's about a 44-second difference for coming out of Swamp.
Yeah. I mean, that dead rock could mean all the difference. Every small thing here could mean the difference between our runners winning and losing.
Just ask Freddy, right? He nearly swept wall kicks, lost by 7 seconds. The dead rock was part of that. Or several dead rocks.
Oh, gosh. So, Obscure is making... Sorry. Well, they're both making the climb. Humbug is making the climb towards Ganon's Tower. Make sure that you've got your guesses in. You can also predict with channel points until Humbug opens GT, which will be in about 5 seconds. So, your guesses end... Well, soon. As Humbug enters GT, your guesses will end, and that is now. So, Jossie, do you want to do alternating with me? I'll do 1, you do 2, yeah?
Sure. Well, here's the torch, which is the big one, and just a shield, so boots may not have been required after all.
So, Humbug making his way left towards Stalfos room. These are checks 2 to 5.
But yeah, I'd be curious to go back and see how long Obscure spent mirroring and checking Mimic Cave, because that could easily be the difference in this race.
Yeah. 2 is 50 rupees, and 4 is a compass. Well, 3 and 5 are small keys.
Oh, and Obscure is going right. There is no key here, so... If it's in Compass Room, Humbug now has a big lead.
7 is 50.
And this is why Humbug does this routing, by the way. Like, he was 2+ minutes behind Relkin in their race, and he routed this way. Obscure routed as Relkin's routing. The big key was in Compass Room, and that was enough to swing the race for Humbug.
So, we'll see if Obscure does the same routing.
Oh no, that's a small key, the big key's in here. And there it is at number 10.
I don't see any guesses for number 10.
We had a few people laying some points on it who got a huge payoff to the tune of like 14x.
I mean, that's definitely good for those people. Nobody said it in chat though, so... And Obscure is just going to rando rooms, so... Yeah, Humbug has an even greater lead because of that GT play.
Though Obscure did find the cape. So now he can go down the mountain and get his boots.
I don't think boots are needed this seed. Just come. And whilst nobody said it directly, I will trust people on their words. I know a few people were one off, but since they've said it in chat, congratulations VXR for being one off then. As we've got to have some winners, right? I know I should say everybody.
Yeah, we had quite a few 11s.
Yeah, might as well say them all. Tebek and Underlight, congratulations as well for being one off.
I guess the routing choices also mean it doesn't matter that Obscure went to Mimic Cave. Oh, but with that red mail, he can take all those extra Ganon hugs.
Yeah, I don't think red mail's gonna make the difference. Obscure's still looking for that big key.
Yeah, I know. But, hey, just to remind you, Game 3 between these runners will be right here on SpeedGaming 2 in a little over an hour at 1:10 Eastern. Oh no, Obscure's doing Tile Room!
Oh god.
He figures, well, I'm probably behind at this point.
So, Humbug's defeating Moldome. Yeah, this isn't good for Obscure at all. It is good for us, seeing a Game 3 between these two. More rando for all of us.
I mean, and if Big Key had been anywhere but Compass Room, Obscure might well have taken the lead.
Also, I'm just thinking, Drossi, just logically, because there's a Game 3 in an hour, we might not... I'd assume we might not get an interview from the runners.
It's up to the runners whether they want to interview or take a break.
Yeah. I mean, we'll just see what their view on it is. And Obscure getting that big key, going up the climb. And that was a good Aga 2 fight from Humbug.
Amazing how they were in Hope Room at the same time, and now they're a full GT climb apart.
I mean, I'm not ever doubting Humbug's GT routing skills, ever now. So this is Humbug versus Ganon. Fourth sword, and Silvers. Should be a relatively easy fight. Humbug getting those put shard invulnerabilities off well, and should be on to about, well, is on to third phase now.
By the way, the runners are saying they will do a short interview.
Oh, okay. Humbugh's on the fourth phase of Ganon. And that is Ganon down. Get your GGs ready for Humbugh in chat.
And Humbugh crosses with an official race time of 1:44.55, winning this match and sending it to a game 3.
And Obscure will be keeping with the climb here. As Obscure defeats those guards, is on to the first torch room, and GG's Humbugh.
Thank you.
And in the interest of time, we're also going to bring in Obscure, just because we know you guys do have only about an hour break before your next race. So GG Obscure as well.
GG's Humbugs, well played.
GG, dude.
So
yeah, we were apparently optimistic, thinking that okay, let's just schedule it for 1 p.m. so we will have 1.5 hours between the races.
Yeah, Jossie was like, I'm not going to have that. I'm just going to roll them some absolute garbage.
Well,
what was that?
It couldn't be worse than what Humbugh rolled yesterday.
No, this was worse. This was worse.
I didn't tell you guys not to, fake powder.
I mean, I still would have cleared Thieves down anyway. I saved from the mushroom, but I still would have done it. I didn't want to go back to pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that was part of it. Though honestly, GT basement routing was what it came down to. You guys were in Hope Room in sync. If the Big Key had been in Hope Room, it would have been an extremely tight race. If the Big Key had been in the back, Obscure probably would have had a small lead.
Yeah.
So, GT, it wasn't clear who was going to win until GT basement routing.
Yeah.
For all that.
Yeah, that's what happens, I think, when we get a seed that requires us to do everything. Well, apart from Eastern, but I suppose both of us did it anyway.
Gotta get the butter sword.
Good point.
And Obscure, you have a nearly full tracker except for those boots, which amazingly you didn't want to mirror out of Rando Room to get the boots.
No,
just give it 20 seconds here.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you guys think when you saw where the boots were?
I thought immediately that, okay, nice cape in GT, let's never go back here. Because that's how this game works, apparently.
Oh my, Obscure does get the boots here.
You wanted a full tracker, you're getting a full tracker.
Although, what about that bug net on Lake Hylia Island?
But yeah, this. Jesus Christ, these kinds of seeds where we're supposed to do everything. It's like when I approach GT in the end, I feel like it's either gonna be super close, or it's gonna be a complete blowout. In like with Obscure completely destroying me. It's one or the other. I'm not ahead. not a chance. Not in my head anyway. So these are so nerve-wracking the whole way through.
Oh yeah, there was just no direction this seed. Like the items were just kind of dotted around everywhere, and you just didn't know what to do and where to go.
Yep. What was the? Okay, I had a thought that this might be true. Which was your first bow, dude?
Oh, that was a moth.
Yeah, figured.
Yeah, because I forgot to check bumper ledge early, so I was like, okay, I'm just checking overworld, and then if I find nothing there, I'm going straight to pod because I was like, I need something else to open overworld, or dark world, I should say. Yeah, so and then when I was in pod, I was like, oh wait, I didn't check bumper. I was like, and then I found the fire rod. I was like, okay, I could just go and have a look when I head back over there.
Yeah.
As our trackers pointed out in chat, because there's a clip of it now, you actually got your bows at the same time.
Oh,
but they were different bows, I assume.
Yes, they were different bows, but you got your bows at the same time. So whilst one of you was getting your bow from Mothula, the other was getting the bow from Ether.
Yeah. Like, okay, so the dip I did into ice, the sequence break, it got me the mirror. I assume that saved me some time, but then I also did Pyramid Fairy for absolutely no reason at all. So then I lost basically all the time that I gained anyway. But then again, I got the bow kind of early. I could do Hera. I could route more efficiently with a bow and all. So
well, the earlier hammer definitely saved you routing too, because Obscure went over to Village, then went back to Pod, still only had the Aga portal, so had to go all the way back around to Village and Skullwoods.
Yep. That hammer was nice, but then I forgot it was Ambrosia and did everything in Skullwoods anyway. But yeah, the hammer. I thought that I might get that ahead of Obscure, like he would skip it, so it felt good getting it really kind of out of the way, but you never know.
Yeah, so the early here hammer and Mitch definitely helped you with routing, just in terms of being able to use more Dark World portals. Obscure, I was actually a little bit surprised that you didn't do Front of Thieves on your first time through Village.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I was just trying to eye down those boots because I didn't see them on bumper ledge. I was like, I'm just going to do Dark World and head over to pod, and then like if I still find nothing there, I mean, it's pendant pod. There's always something in pendant pod, right? So I was like, I'll just head back there at some point, and because I didn't have hammer, I didn't have fire rod, and I was like, maybe I can find something hammer or fire rod and go back there and at least clear a dungeon. But yeah, I was just kind of eyelining trying to find those boots, to be honest. That's why I didn't do the Thieves Town dip. I was thinking about it. And then with no mirror as well, it's didn't really want to death warp. I think we had blue mail at that point as well.
Yeah, I guess that was the other thing that Humbug, you were able to single dip pod, right?
Yes, I did. Also, look at those bonks that I just got. Perfect gameplay.
Zero I mean, easy when you don't have boots, right?
Fair enough. But yeah, I managed to single dip pod. So getting Quake was actually super cool. I was stoked about that because I figured, okay, maybe Obscure got here without a bow, so he couldn't finish the dungeon. I got a bit scared then that I found the second bow on Moth, but then I figured, okay, maybe this is his first bow. So we had to double the pod anyway, and that was the case. But yeah, the Quake helped, except for the fact that it also made me double dip Total Rock. But that was fine. Perfect.
Oh yeah, it was so lovely to see. By the way, because there was 3 minutes between you. Obscure, you went into Turtle Rock, and then Humbug, you went in 3 minutes afterwards, and you just basically overtook Obscure to there being like a 10 to 20 second difference. It was interesting to see how a go mode Turtle Rock is so different from a check every chest Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I think it's always interesting as well when you do have like a huge divergence by what it sounds like, and you've got people running everywhere, and then it comes to like the bottleneck, which sounds like Turtle Rock, which just before finding the flippers, and there's literally 20 seconds. You're like, wow. So it literally almost didn't matter which route you took. It's you almost just kind of converged at the same point.
Yeah.
Speaking of 20 seconds, you were really hoping for a cape in Mimic Cave, weren't you?
Well, I just, yeah, I wasn't thinking at that point. Like it's just autopilot. I knew mirror checks were not going to be flippers, but then I forgot that Mimic Cave is actually a mirror check.
As you use the mirror to get to it.
Yeah. So, oh well, it is what it is. That didn't win me or didn't lose me the race, so it didn't make any difference at the end of the day.
Right, only since it came down to GT basement routing.
Yeah.
And Humbug has this way of, like, if he's doing Dark Magician, the big key will show up in Compass Room.
Yep. It saved me a win in the ladder invitational against Relkin, and it got me a win here too.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing a lot of Dark Magician strats. I just wasn't feeling it this seed. I felt so behind after last locating that Quake. Because I thought it was going to be flippers, which is why I eventually sequence broke into Ice Palace. And then when I found the mirror, I was like, okay, yeah, definitely flippers in Palace of Darkness. And then it ended up being Quake.
So what you at least got Quake. What I thought was going to be flippers, because it was my last check, that turned out to be the Ice Rod. My jaw just completely dropped. I just stared at it. I did not, in my wildest dreams, think that was going to be the Ice Rod.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's the same, because I was kind of, I think I literally had, Thieves Town was like my second last location, well, before I went to Ice Palace, like second last logical location, and I found the powder there, and I was like, okay, this might be my out, finding the Ice Rod here.
Yep.
Well, we should probably let you guys get ready for game number 3 in less than an hour.
Yeah. That's I'm gonna be British and have some tea, I think.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Might do the same.
Yep. But thanks for hosting the restream and calming and tracking and all of that. And I guess we'll see you in 50 minutes. So I'm gonna head out. Thanks all.
GG's Humbug.
Yeah, GG's to both our runners. Good luck to you guys in an hour. And again, please give them a follow. Also, thanks to our tracker Ikir. Always. That was a lot of buttons to click, given this race. And pleasure working with you, Goron.
Yep. And pleasure working with you too, Jossie.
And I think, in the meantime, we're actually going to send you over to SpeedGaming Main, where Zero Rush versus Chimo Game 3 is getting underway, and the winner of that game will be facing the winner of this game in the next round.
Yeah?
Though, I guess we'll also let Obscure's credits run out just so we can see his collection rate.
I think that would definitely be good.
Humbug's was 157 for those of you who didn't catch it.
Just the seed, though. Everything. Just everything. Castle Tower, all of the pendants gotten, pretty much every check gotten was definitely interesting to see the divergence in routing between the two runners.
So tempting. Almost on the important stuff. We'll see if Obscure got out any bonks after he got the boots, just because.
And we definitely saw that Humbug didn't this time.
Pegasus Boots 147.
Yay! Definitely good to see.
As opposed to the 1 minute flute.
Yeah. Just looking again, most fights were Gold Sword for, well, I think more for Obscure than for Humbug, actually.
He got out 16 bonks in that short amount of time.
16!
169, nice.
Yeah. So, a bit more than Humbug then.
Okay, so I think that's gonna do it here. Thanks again. We're gonna send you over to Zero Rush versus Chimo, and be sure to come back here in an hour to see the grand finale between Humbug and ObscureLifeForm.
Yep, definitely, and GG's everybody.